Hey guys, welcome to Coach's Kitchen, and we cooking wild game tonight. We're gonna cook up some venison real quick. I got everything lined out here. I like to let my onions and garlic cook in the oil before we put the meat in there. And so we got the meat right here. I got the flour and then the buttermilk. So we usually like to dry the meat off. We like to season the meat, then we rub it in, then we flip it over, season and rub that side in. And then we put it in the flour real quick. And then we take it out of the flour, and we kind of shake it off and shake some of that. And then we dip it in the buttermilk. We want to try and make sure we don't, just move over here a little bit closer. We want to try and make sure that we don't rub all of the seasoning off of the side of the deer meat. And this deer meat came from Kansas. My best friend's taught me how to do this. I don't really like shooting them, but I have no problem eating them. So you can see those onions in the skillet are cooking to get like, a little bit dark. So which is perfect, just the way you want them. Shake that up one more time, and we just put that. Now, letting the garlic and those purple onions cook in that extra virgin olive oil for 10 or 15 minutes before we added this stuff to it is really going to make a huge difference. This frying thing is kind of messy over here. But we got this. Going to get as much of that flour off of there as possible. So when you're cooking wild game, you usually want to wait till you see the blood kind of starting to accumulate on the top, like on that piece right there. But I put a double coat of flour and buttermilk on it, so we're going to flip it over sooner, because I already know. So you can see right there where it's starting to get this one here. When it starts getting a little red on the top from the, that's when you need to do. Flip it over. And once you flip it over, it's only a couple of minutes before it's done, because the venison cooks really fast, and it's still cooking when you take it off the fire. And that's right there. I'm gonna try to take it off the fire without breaking that. Without breaking that nice crust. I'm making a mess over here. You gotta expect that when you're okay, we're steaming some rice over here, and it's done, so we're going to turn it off. So we're going to have steamed rice. And venison, deer meat from Kansas. those are done. They look delicious. They look delicious. But we're going to take some of this grease out of this. Now we're going to make some gravy for the rice, and I'm going to boil that water there for our ear corn. I used to cook two, but since it's just me, I just need to cook one. But if you guys want to come over for dinner, let me know. Okay, here we go with the gravy. Skillet's getting hot. We just put the flour right in there. I'm going to go with a little extra flour. I want to make gravy for tomorrow, but then I'm going to have meat left over. I'm not going to be able to eat all of that meat myself at one sitting. So now the way I make my gravy, I make it from scratch in the skillet. Sure, got the onions in there, and you just want to stir it around and let that until that flour cooks and turns brown. When it turns brown, then it's killed all the gluten, and it's a lot easier on your stomach. So you can see it's starting to turn brown right there. A little bit of a mess over here. Okay, that's brown enough for me. So we're going to move it over to one side. We'll put a little bit of oil in here. You guys hear that little bit of oil cooking up, and so now we're going to cook up the garlic and the purple onions in that oil flavor now, but we gotta still keep stirring that, keep this rolling over here because it's still cooking. I kind of got it moved over halfway. Yeah, my grandma taught me how to make the best gravy in the world, and she said it's the best gravy in the world unless you've been all over the world. Now, while that's cooking right there, I want to put just a little bit of flavor in it. Montreal steak seasoning. Yeah, we got to go with this stuff here. My son loves this stuff, and I think it's pretty dang good too. So a little bit of that on there. I'm going to put a little bit of that over there, and over there, and over there. Okay, now it's starting to get a little hot. So we're coming in with the chicken stock when it gets a little hot to give you a gravy flavor. And it actually finished cooking all of that. So we'll put just a little more chicken stock in there. And then when you feel like your your nuggets of flavor that you put in the bottom there are cooked well enough, then you can go ahead and add the buttermilk, the rest of the buttermilk that you used to dip the. And I like to crunch those up a little bit because they're kind of big, the little pieces. Okay, now you add your buttermilk in there. And then you use your water to keep it so when you mix in everything in. Got a little messy over there. It looks like crap right now, but just work with me here. Now remember those little pieces of chunky thing you see in there are the garlic that's still cooking. And so now we're just gonna add a little more water to it. Now we're going to turn the fire down a little bit from 7 down to like a 3 or maybe a 1. I think corn is ready to go down. And we're going to turn this back up to like maybe a 3 and let it cook a little bit longer while the corn boils. Now, I usually like to cook about, half or a third of the wild game in the gravy because it heats up tomorrow a lot better after sitting in that gravy for a little while. The rice is done over there. We're just finishing up the corn and be another 3-man chef. That looks really good. And it smells really delicious. I haven't even tasted it yet. And those little chunks that you see on the top is not flour. It's the garlic that we chopped up and put in there. The whole garlic. We use fresh garlic in our stuff. We don't play around in Coach's Kitchen. Okay? Yeah, I think I'm going to shut it down. I'll leave y'all a picture at the end of what it looked like when it was done. You guys make sure you subscribe down below. Click the bell so you get notification when we post new delicious. Okay, wait a minute. Yeah, I can't go no higher than that. I'll hit the ceiling. Yeah, all right. Yeah, make sure you guys subscribe, hit the bell, and share both of our channels. Okay, we're switching over to the food channel because when we get done kicking into your butt on Pro Se Legal School, we're gonna sell that off and start doing something way more fun. So, And if you'd like to come hang out with Coach at Coach's Kitchen, hit me up. All right, later.